Vine peeked out of her bedroom. Her parents were in the lounge watching TV. The loud sound of the reality show bounced against the wall. She grinned happily and locked her room door, making sure no sound was made in the process. Skipping happily towards her closet, she changed her clothes, making sure she covered herself well, not to get sick in the cold. Skipping towards the window, she opened it and had to prepare herself to jump out in such cold. The roads were covered with snow, but this is what she loved, playing in the snow and escaping the home for some time, running away somewhere where she could escape the life problems for some time. Jumping out of the window, she closed it behind and jumped down the fence. She looked back once to make sure she wasn't found, then started to run, getting away from her home and any praying eyes. Ryan, finally, God, give me money so I can run somewhere so far away no one can ever find me. She exhaled and threw herself back on the snow and stared at the sky filled with the stars. She loved adventure, and running away from home at this hour made her quite used to the dark, and her fear was almost non existent. As she stared at the woods far away, she really contemplated so hard. She would always stop at this point, but the inner desire always killed her to step in there and explore more. Ryan, wild animals should be deep inside there. I won't go too far. She said the same thing she told herself daily, but then she got up and started advancing towards it. The weather was really chilly. She hugged herself and promised herself not to go too far, even if she was sure if she stepped there once, she'll only be going further and further inside every passing day. Ryan, it's pretty. Is this what I was missing on? She took her time as she admired the trees full with snow, and the moonlight casted such beautiful beam of light on them. Ryan, no one is here to take care of them, yet this place is so beautiful. Getting lost in the beauty of white and brown, in contrast with the darkness of the sky, she never realized she got so deep in the woods. When she snapped out of her trance, she widened her eyes and instantly looked around. A curse left past her lips and she circled, taking a look around, but every way seemed the same. Panicking a little, she tried to run in different ways, but it was more like she was running in circles. Then at one point, she heard a loud howl, the one terrifying sound that numbed her to bones, stealing her every ability to move or even breathe. She feared if she did, so she will be caught, and suddenly a whole lot of wolves would be surrounding her. They don't teach that in schools. How to escape a wolf. She cursed. Was she supposed to play dead? She didn't even know the way out. She decided to quietly look around, but the hair on the back of her neck rose. She felt a presence around her. It radiated such dominant and destructive aura that it made her dizzy. Before she could turn to look, she screamed when a heavy weight pinned her down to the ground. Her eyes widened up when she found a wolf right on top of her. It was black, red eyes, and something about it hypnotized her. It was beautiful and screamed danger, as if it was not pleased with someone entering its territory. Every made up plan in her head of escaping a wild element dropped dead on the spot as she stared at its beauty. Its eyes suddenly shifted color, turning yellow before he slowly started to shift in its position. Was he going to eat her? Is that it? Was she going to die? To her shock, she heard the sound of bone crackling. The wolf started to shift its form, and like straight out of a fairy tale, he was a human, hovering above her, replacing the wolf. Did she blink her eyes? Did she miss something? She looked around out of shock to find the wolf. Maybe the guy on top of her did some magic, and like a superhuman, threw the wolf away. She was dreaming, and she confirmed it when she saw his eyes glowing yellow, as the wolf for a few moments. But she couldn't ask. She was way too gone to open her mouth. He was handsome, not just humanly handsome, he was beyond that all. Sharp features and the most beautifully sculpted creature she has ever seen in her life. Jungkook, who are you? Even his voice sounded so out of the world. She was convinced that nothing about this was real. Jungkook, I asked something, sweetheart. He leaned forward near her neck and sniffed once. His hands slid up her wrists until they were intertwined with hers. Wine, she replied and released a heavy breath. It was weird, the way he made her feel around him. Jungkook, what are you doing here? Wine. Wine, I got lost. Is this a dream? Jungkook tilted his head and stared in her eyes. He ran a hand through her hair. Jungkook, no. Wine, you're lying. I'm laying in the snow. I don't feel the cold. Jungkook smiled. It was the one smile Will had the power to bring any woman down to their knees. Jungkook, it is not a dream, sweethearts. He moved back. She thought he was going to get up. She was supposed to be scared of him, but all she did was grab his hand, pulling him close to her. Wine, I feel weird. Even if it was a dream, she wanted him close to her. Jungkook, weird? How? Wine, I don't know how to say it. I want you to stay. If Jungkook was suspicious, it only cleared his doubts. She felt the same way he did. I am Jungkook, and I am a werewolf. You're my mate. I see your eyes glowing. Wine instantly covered her eyes. Then once she peeked at him, She had disbelief written all over her face. Lion, that only exists in books. It's not real. Werewolves and vampires. Jungkook, you should believe your eyes more than those myths. You saw me turning from wolf to a human. It's not a dream. And he pushed her back down with a jerk, and her breath got caught in her throat. He was closed, dangerously closed, and nothing about it scared her. Jungkook, all I want is to mark you, right now. He growled. It was not any lesser than a wolf's howl. Beautiful, yet terrifying. She grabbed his shirt, curling her fingers around it. The tension and the electricity, the two fell between them, made her pull him down and display her neck. His breath got rigid, and he was too close to lose his patience. So what if it was a dream? She wanted him, his aroma, his aura, his body. He himself, everything about him, made her want to desire him so crazily. Vian, then do it. Mark me and make me yours. Jungkook didn't waste a moment before digging his fangs in her neck. She shut her eyes tightly as the result, but it gave him so much satisfaction. As he felt the bond creating between them, he pulled back before he slammed his lips against hers. She kissed him back, and he rolled around so she was on top of him. He was a werewolf. Some snow couldn't do anything bad to him. But being a human, she needed to be careful about such things. Jungkook pulled on her hair. She arched her back and let out a sinful sound. No kiss ever felt the way he did. The way his hold screamed dominance and ownership. Jungkook, I'm an alpha, and I own this territory. This whole forest. No one is allowed in here. Well, except for you, my Luna. This is your home from now on. Wine, do you have a wolf pack too? Like those members and all? Jungkook, looks like you're still not convinced this is reality. But yes, it's almost consisted on betas. He stood off the ground, keeping her in his arms. As he started to walk forward, she stared at him while he kept his focus on the road and her as well. Ryan, you're warm, even in this cold. She snuggled in. It might be stupid that he was a stranger just a moment ago, but she found her comfort in him. She knew her heart, and it screamed that it wanted him. Was it because of the mate connection, or that mark on her neck given by him? After some time, she saw a giant, beautiful mansion, and when he took her in, she was met with a lot of people. They introduced themselves as betas, and there was some omegas too, but she was just a human. Jungkook announced Ryan as his Luna, and everyone welcomed her so warmly, as if they have been waiting for their alpha to bring one. Jungkook showed her around, and the more he stayed with her, the more the two needed each other. It was much faster than a normal relation grows. Their connection grew much stronger and much quicker. Wine. Jungkook, you need to promise me not to hurt me. Jungkook, that's a human thing, Hwayan. We can't separate. The need for each other will only be maddening. You're my mate. I marked you. He pecked her lips and she smiled, nodding once, and was just her heart, who was ready to believe his every word. He was right. It was the mate thing that did this all, and now all she wanted was him.